Be a part of the best pro wrestling podcast today by supporting the Going In Raw Patreon. You can enjoy access to the live taping of the show, exclusive merchandise, and patron-only episodes, and so much more. Support Going In Raw today. Click the link in the description. Hey, friendo, Steve here.
And Larson.
And welcome to the Going In Raw Dirt Sheet. That's right, we're available at right here, youtube.com/Steven Larson, at the iTunes, Stitcher Radio, soundcloud.com/Steven Larson, Google Play, Podbean, all those great places. This is Going In Raw is what the show is.
Well, it's the Dirt Sheet.
It's the Dirt Sheet,
it's pure news.
But it's Going In Raw.
We have NXT and CWC recaps this week.
We do.
It's like a condensed version.
Exactly, but it's going to be an hour and a half long.
No, it's not.
The last two episodes of Going In Raw have been an hour and a half, hour 20 minutes. This I want to make a feature length, but like a 3 hours long.
It's too much.
So much.
It's too much.
It's a lot.
It is a lot. It's too much.
People want to hear us talk wrestling.
They do, but they get it
for an hour and a half every day.
No.
Oh boy, we got a lot to talk about today. Actually,
yeah.
It's pretty thin on news, really, to be honest.
But there's some good stuff to talk about. First story we're going to talk about.
Roman Reigns is the best wrestler ever this year, Larson. According to Pro Wrestling Illustrated's Top 500, which everybody just, so much anticipation to see what PWI says every single year.
I didn't know they released their list in the middle of the year.
You'd think that this is the kind of thing they would do, December-ish.
Or early January.
Early January.
Yeah.
To really get a full scope of the year that was.
We don't know what their publishing schedule is like. We don't know anything about their internal business dealings.
Sure,
Maybe for them, it's advantageous business-wise to do it this time of year.
There's probably an interesting story as to why they do this.
Maybe they started publishing in July of...
Now of like 1935.
Yeah, something like that. We don't know.
Something like that.
But
anyways,
we could look it up on Wikipedia, but we're not going to. We don't know.
They do the top 500 wrestlers every year through August or whatever. We're in September. It's September 1st.
Well, their evaluation period, this is from the PWI's announcement that Roman Reigns is number one on the list. Their evaluation period, at least this year, was July 1st, 2015 through June 30th, 2016.
Right.
And in that span, they say Roman won the WWE Championship 3 times, headlined the biggest WrestleMania of all time, defeated Triple H. From November of 2015 through June 2016, Reigns was unquestionably WWE's top star most consistent headliner.
Okay.
Hold on, there's some more here. Very simply put, by the criteria used to rank the PWI 500, no one in the world had a better year.
Okay, there's a couple things to chew on here. Number one, that last thing that you said, by their criteria. That's fine, because whatever their criteria is, that's their criteria.
Yeah, it's fine.
If that's what dictates what Roman... However, the thing that I take issue with is this line here. Reigns was unquestionably...
I just pulled this bit from their announcement. Elsewhere in their announcement, they mention his kind of mixed reactions from crowds. They said unquestionably, though, right? Yeah, this is verbatim.
That's
from their
verbatim. Okay, Reigns was unquestionably WWE's top star and most consistent headliner. That might be true because Seth Rollins was out. Okay, technically
he headlined a lot of pay-per-views,
but unquestionably top star.
Well, I mean, it depends if they're making a statement from the perspective of the WWE fan or the WWE management. Because if it's from the perspective of WWE management, then it's correct. Because they viewed Roman as their top star. The fan base did not.
They viewed him as a guy who could be their top star. As the guy. They viewed him as the guy who could be.
Who they wanted to be their top star. Who they
wanted to be. But unquestionably their top star?
This is their criteria, so...
Unquestionably their top star.
Well, who else would
I mean, look, here's the thing. Number one, it's and we love PWI. Like, remember Pro Wrestling Almanac?
Yeah.
That was PWI,
yeah. No,
right?
I know.
It was our favorite thing in the world. And, so we're not, this is by no means us shitting on them. We love them to death.
Yeah.
But the great thing about the PWI 500 that I think they would agree with is that the debate that follows.
It spurs conversation.
Exactly. Yeah. That's what we're doing right now.
Yeah.
It's very, very interesting.
Here's what I find interesting about their criteria, I guess I'd
go
say,
ahead.
is they base their rankings upon things that are not determined by the wrestlers themselves, like championship reigns and runs.
Right.
That's not, like the performer granted, their performance has something to do with that because they get over with the crowd, make the company money.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the same criteria they've been using for years. Fine, cool.
Right.
But it just seems interesting to me that would be a major criteria point, whereas. But maybe that's just because it's a concrete thing as opposed to, say, like their actual in-ring performance.
Mm-hmm.
That's more subjective, I guess.
Right.
So if you want to list why someone is topping your list, you want concrete things as opposed to regularly one of the better in-ring performers, because that's a subjective statement.
So last year it was Seth. Seth
Yeah.
was 1. Roman Reigns was 4.
Who was 2?
Seth, Cena, AJ, Roman Reigns.
What about this year? Who's the top 5 this year?
This year it is. Let's see here.
I'm guessing it's going to be Reigns, maybe Owens.
God, I wish it would just fucking show up like the other one did.
Well, it's new news.
It's new news. All right, let's see here.
Or they even have. Oh, there it is. Wow. Good luck reading that.
Oh, fuck me. Alphabetical listing. God damn it.
Here,
What a fucking mess this is.
Let me see.
I can use my phone. I know how to use my phone. Leave me alone. Hold on.
Well, here, while you're looking for it,
Yeah,
let's predict. Let's predict who is going to be the top 5 since we don't know.
Well, hold on a second. Okay, what other contenders for number 1 should there have been? AJ Styles. To me, AJ Styles had a very good period of time. Coming into the WWE.
Let's suggest some other names. Kevin Owens, AJ Styles.
Who else could? Kevin Owens, AJ Styles. I mean, Seth was injured during most of that time.
Kenny Omega.
Kenny Omega has a really good shot at, I would say, like the next year.
Yeah.
Or, to 2017. But I mean, okay, let's look at AJ Styles really quick.
Broken Matt Hardy.
Oh yeah, man, how is he not number 1?
I don't know.
AJ Styles went from being one of the top stars in New Japan to being one of the top stars in the WWE.
Yeah.
Putting on the best matches.
Yeah.
Along the way.
Yeah.
When was Wrestle Kingdom 10?
That was January, wasn't it? That was right before he came over.
Yes, or December. I think it's a big December.
Yeah.
I don't know. We're so stupid. Personally speaking, I know he didn't have the WWE, but how long was Roman's longest reign? 4 months? 6 months?
Not even
No,
that.
it's 6 months.
I think his longest reign was from when he went into Mania until he got suspended.
And he put on really good matches.
All his matches the only dud match he put on was when he won the belt at WrestleMania against Triple H.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we've said plenty about our problems with how Creative has booked Roman. Mm-hmm. He busts his ass in the ring.
He does.
He works hard.
And they put it. The thing is, they put him like his matches with AJ were really good.
Yeah.
And I mean, granted, a lot of that they're putting him in there with guys who really know how to go.
Yeah.
And AJ really knows how to go. AJ got 2 fantastic matches out of Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
To me, it's AJ Styles is kind of a no-brainer. He came from New Japan where he was one of the biggest stars. He came to the WWE and immediately was one of their biggest stars. And granted, SummerSlam was after their period of review.
Yeah.
But tell me SummerSlam did. And look, my early prediction is going to be AJ for 2017 because he's going to win the world title this year.
Yeah.
World title.
He might win it in a couple weeks.
Exactly. So, but even, I mean, the kid to go from that massive promotion to this massive promotion and maintain your massive status.
I agree.
Is insane.
Yeah, I agree.
Is
another contender for the top 5, I would think, would be Shinsuke Nakamura.
Top 5 for sure.
Yeah.
Top 5 for sure. But coming into NXT, I mean, just his sort of path has been more of okay, we're bringing in this guy who doesn't know a lot of English, so we don't know if his promo, if we don't know if he's going to be able to translate personality-wise. Look, you guys know, I'm a massive mark for Shinsuke Nakamura, but understanding that his path this year is more kind of feeling out. He left New Japan.
It seems like this next year
feeling out this next year it's gonna be him and AJ.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Do they include women's wrestlers on the top 500? If so, then Bayley Bayley and Sasha should be in the top 10 easily.
I agree completely. Okay, hold on a second. I'm gonna find the damn the damn thing is what I'm going to do. I got all mixed up. So what are some other? Now I've taught my personal top is AJ Styles.
Yeah.
What do you think though?
I can't necessarily disagree with AJ. I can't find an argument. It's just personal preference. Mm-hmm. Like I thought the impact that Kevin Owens made when he debuted.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, look,
the year he's had.
To me, it's AJ, it's KO. I think it's AJ, KO. Samoa Joe has done a lot. I mean, he's legitimized in some respects. And actually, Finn Balor legitimized, and he had that huge coming out party at Raw.
Yeah.
So he's got a good case that could be made. You said Kenny Omega already. He's had a really stellar year.
Adam Cole.
I'm gonna look this up. You just love saying the name Adam Cole.
I do because I like it elicits such a
Did you see on Twitter today? One of our friendos sent a picture of him and Adam Cole, and he was like, he said, which one is the wrestler and which one's the fan? And I looked at Adam Cole and I said, well, the guy on the right, Adam Cole, he's the fan, and then this guy right here is the mega superstar. All right, where is it?
You probably have to go to newsstands and buy the magazine to get it.
You think so?
In the ranked list.
That's a good point. I might actually go and do that. You think is it out? Is it out?
I don't know.
Neither do I.
Should we take a break and go to to Barnes and Noble and see if they have it?
I think we should. Absolutely.
We got a lot to do today, though.
We have a lot to do. We're not going to do that. Okay. Yeah, I mean, look, we talk endlessly about all the different wrestlers up there that we always like. So, that's those are the guys that we think should be up there. I do personally think AJ Styles, like, unquestionably the top wrestler of this period of
2015, 2016.
Exactly. Oh, choose year 2016. That's what I'm choosing. Anyways, so speaking of one of our top contenders
and the new Universal Champion,
Kevin Owens. Had some everybody sort of turned on Twitter. Everybody sort of started staring at two people on Twitter, Jim Cornette and Vince Russo, because Cornette has sort of an Owens story about it. I meant to send it to you. Okay. Well, Cornette, and this is a couple of years ago, he was talking about sort of the difficulties of working with Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. He was saying that Kevin Owens was essentially Sami Zayn's agent. And so to deal with one, you had to deal with both, which is awesome.
That's
Isn't
pretty
that great?
That's pretty cool.
So, so he sort of tells a story about how they were taking sort of a hiatus for television, or they're sort of relaunching Ring of Honor in 2013, 2012, something like that. Hold on, before I continue this Jim Cornette story, I got the top 10 here, anyways. Roman Okada over the New Japan IWGP Heavyweight Champion.
Good choice.
Finn Balor, AJ, Jay Lethal, Kevin Owens, Shinsuke, Seth, Dean, and John Cena.
It's a good top 10.
Yeah. So,
although I think Bayley,
Okada moved up from 27 to 2.
I think Bayley or Sasha Banks should be in the top 10. I would take Cena out. At least one of them in.
See also PWI female 50.
Oh,
that's
they
right.
have a different list.
They do that.
Okay.
They do female.
Well, who's top on the female list then?
It's either gonna be Charlotte or Sasha. Nikki Bella.
Really?
No, that's for 2015.
Okay.
I don't see a 2016.
No, they haven't done it yet, maybe.
Apparently not. Anyways, Cornette was saying they were going to launch into 70 markets, and they wanted, and when they were going to debut, they didn't want Owens on there because they were going to push him to be a top guy. They said, go home, lose about 40 pounds, so that when you come back, you can look badass, and you've made a change. And he said, when they were going to do TV, he came back. He had lost 30. He said he had lost 25 to 30 pounds. And that's when he told them, we're going to hold off on debuting you on TV, not in the first episode, but a couple weeks down the line, because we want it to mean more. Owens didn't like that. Cornette. Owens didn't like that, went home, sulked, to gain all the weight back. But the bottom line with Cornette is that he wanted to push him as the number one guy. So you can't really, and he said he was just difficult to work with. That's not really talking shit. That's just explaining his own experiences and trying to make this guy, trying to work with him and be a top star.
Yeah.
So Cornette doesn't, he might have said something along the way about him not really fitting in the WWE, and so people are saying, "Oh, he proved you wrong. You didn't like Owens, blah blah blah." But Cornette always saw Owens as the top guy.
Yeah.
Russo, Vince
do
Russo.
You want to talk about this little bit of story from wrestling? A bit of news from wrestling.
Oh yeah, there was sort of a rumor going around on Twitter, anyway, saying that Owens Owens' reaction in the ring was legitimate when
Yeah.
Triple H turned on Seth Rollins and
I
gave him a
don't
pedigree.
know if that's a rumor or just speculation. People were so impressed by Owens' performance that they thought it was a shoot.
Oh, yeah, I don't know. I thought I saw somewhere on Twitter that somebody reported something.
Oh.
In which case, you're like, okay, well, it's Twitter, so anybody can say anything.
Yeah, exactly.
That was my take on that. But according to Wrestling Observer, everybody knew what was going on. Owens knew. Yeah.
Everybody's just really good at their jobs.
Everybody's really, really good at their jobs. Okay, let's talk a little bit about Vince Russo.
Okay. So he, on his podcast, the night
brand.
following Raw,
The brand.
he opened his show with an extended diatribe against Kevin Owens as Universal Champion, essentially.
Right.
Where to start?
Some choice quotes here. Quote, here's the payoff, bro. Bro.
Yeah, he says bro a lot.
Bro. Did you notice that?
He says bro a lot.
A lot. Bro. Kevin Owens is now the hood ornament of your company. Do you want it, bro? Bro, do you want to drive around, bro, with Kevin Browens sitting at the hood of your car? I don't. Basically, bro, at the end of the day, this is what you have to do. Bro, it's very simple. Bro, put Kevin Browens in the John Cena role.
All right, let's take a break here. Just because someone wins a belt doesn't
What kind
mean...
of car do you think Russo drives? Do you think he has a hood ornament on his car?
No, most cars don't have hood ornaments anymore. Just because someone is given an opportunity to run with the belt doesn't mean they're automatically the next John Cena.
Right.
Even when John Cena won the belt, he wasn't the next John Cena.
Right.
He was a guy who was incredibly over. Had he done the Marine at that point? When did he win his belt, the world title for the first time? Was it 2004 or 5?
It was WrestleMania 21. I was there, and that was 2005. Yeah.
Okay. So he had done the Marine by that point.
I think so.
Yeah, he had, because you had the poster on the door of your room when we lived at the house together.
Holy shit.
And that was 2000.
Really? Man, you remember that?
Yeah.
I don't remember that. That's crazy.
So even in 2000,
I put that up ironically.
I know.
Okay.
In 2005, when he's been in the WWE for 2 years.
Yeah.
I don't think. I mean, they might have thought that Cena had the potential to be a mainstream crossover star, but there wasn't any certainty.
Yeah.
So even when John Cena became world champ John Cena, I don't know if anybody expected him to be the John Cena he is now. So to say by Kevin Owens winning this belt, he's not John Cena and therefore he is not deserving is unfair to Kevin Owens because that's not the expectation.
And remember also, this is the guy, Vince Russo, who said when Finn Balor won the number one contendership, that he compared him to the Lucky Charms guy, which at worst is racist and at best is extremely stupid and ignorant. I don't know. I mean, there's all sorts of words you can use to describe
You
that.
gotta remember that Vince Russo is the guy who also thought that Jeff Jarrett was money.
Here's the thing.
So it's
Here's the thing. One thing that we get praised for, by I notice in a lot of comments, is our power of positivity. Right?
Yeah.
But when somebody makes comments that are so far beyond being asinine, it's kind of fun to call them out on it, you know?
Yeah. Here he also mentions that, continuing on from your quote, he talks about Kevin Owens doing talk shows and such. And he says, says, we're going to put Kevin Owens on Good Morning America. We're going to put Kevin Owens in commercials. We're going to put Kevin Owens in movies. We're going to put Kevin Owens on the Kids' Choice Awards on MTV. It's that simple. He's a hood ornament of your company. Would I, Vince Russo that is, make Kevin Owens the hood ornament of my company? No, I would not.
Right. Well, his company right now is something called
Rocky Mountain Pro. And they apparently have a TV deal coming.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, though.
Who's been the secondary face of the company for the past 12 months to 24 months? Who's been on ESPN? Who's been on The Daily Show? Who's been on all these places?
It's been Seth Rollins.
It's been Seth Rollins, who's a great hood ornament for your company.
Well, I think Kevin Owens could be too, but Kevin Owens he's got an everyman appeal to him. He's a very smart, very charming, very funny guy. I would really enjoy seeing him on Good Morning America or The Daily Show or sitting next to Jimmy Fallon.
He's got a great family story.
Yeah, he would be a great interview.
Yeah.
And like I said, he's got, like Daniel Bryan.
Yeah.
He doesn't look like John Cena.
Yeah.
He doesn't have movie star looks. He's not a huge guy.
Yeah.
But he got over based on his underdog appeal, his charisma, and his personality.
And that's all stuff
And
that
he
Kevin
crossed
Owens
over.
has in spades.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. And he says, I don't see that. If you disagree with me, bro, I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. But yet you're talking extensively about it. You're talking ad nauseum about it, Vince. But you're replacing John Cena is what you're doing, which is preposterous, bro.
No, they're not replacing John Cena. John Cena, like The Rock, John Cena, Stone Cold, they're, well, more or less once-in-a-generation talents.
Yes, they are.
And when you try to manufacture them, you get incidences like
Roman Reigns. That's the problem. That's the thing, is like the WWE... I don't know if they'll realize it, if they don't want to realize it, if they're figuring it out. I don't know what. But John Cena, like you said, is a once in a generation guy. You know, you're not just gonna have another John Cena. You're not gonna make Sheamus the next John Cena. Now, when that former WWE writer, I forget his name.
Oh yeah. I know you're talking
said,
about.
You know, in that meeting that he was pushing CM Punk to be the next face of the company. To me, that was legitimate because CM Punk had all those things.
Yeah.
Charisma, personality.
An organic fan base. Same with Daniel Bryan.
Exactly. And CM Punk didn't look like, you know, your John Cena guy. You know, John Cena is John Cena. They shouldn't need to manufacture another guy. But Seth Rollins is stepping into kind of that role at this point where he is the face, where you see him on ESPN. You probably end up seeing him on Good Morning America. You'll see him all over the place eventually. And granted, he's a big-time heel right now. That might be changing soon.
Yeah.
But there's no reason Kevin Owens can't be those things. He is... Part of his appeal is that he looks different.
Yeah.
You know, it's like you call him what you want. Fat. I consider myself fat. I couldn't do any of the shit that he does in the ring. So I'm not sure exactly why him being round is an issue or a problem to some people.
I know.
I never wanted to see Vince fucking Russo anywhere, but he had the big gold belt. He booked himself to win that shit, and he looked like crap. And I never wanted to see it. And guess what? Millions of other people didn't want to see it either, and that's why they didn't watch WCW.
Let's continue along that tack, because then he mentions the fact that he put the belt on David Arquette, and this is what he had to say about that.
This is the greatest bit of his little thing.
What he had to say.
I don't care, bro.
This is what he says.
Evidently you do care.
This is what he says. Quote, first...
I care. I give a shit.
Quote, first of all, David Arquette was more over than Kevin Owens will ever be. Let me finish. Casual wrestling fans and casual wrestling viewers in general know who David Arquette was. That's first of all. Casual viewers have no idea who Kevin Owens is, and every time he comes out, literally, they're like, who is this guy? Okay, there's a difference between being over and being known. David Arquette is well known because he's an actor. He's been in some massive movies.
Yeah.
Who's a David Arquette fan?
Okay, here's the thing. I've known, and I've been, in the distant past, an Adam Sandler fan. There are Adam Sandler fans out there. There are lots of people who say, "Oh, I'm a big Adam Sandler fan." Mm-hmm. I'm a big Will Ferrell fan. I love Will Ferrell. He makes me laugh.
Yeah.
I'm a Will Ferrell fan.
Yeah, I like Will Ferrell too. Yeah.
Do you know anybody in your life who's ever said, "I'm a David Arquette"? And I'm not shitting on David Arquette.
No, not at all.
He's made a career for himself as an actor in comedic roles and maybe dramatic roles. I don't know.
Yeah,
he's carved out. I'm sure he's a nice fella. He's a good guy, and by all accounts, he felt horrible about being the WCW champion. He wanted nowhere to be nowhere near that thing.
They did it to promote a movie.
Yes, they did it to promote a movie. And Vince Russo, and everything I've heard him say, he talks about David Arquette the next morning was on the cover of USA Today. If DDP would have won, he wouldn't have been there. Well, who fucking can? Yeah, if fucking I don't know, name somebody equally ridiculous as David Arquette.
Well,
Exactly. If Rob Schneider had won the WCW belt, he'd probably be on the cover of USA Today. Put the fucking big gold belt on anything weird, and it's going to be on the cover of USA Today. Just because he's known doesn't mean he's over.
Yeah.
It's just the sheer amount of non-logic here is stunning.
And he mentions his plan to put the belt on Tank Abbott as well.
Yeah. I was going to put the belt on Tank Abbott because of the circumstances in the match. And any the way, Tank Abbott was a legitimate shoot fighter. He knocked people out for a living. And the way the story is written out made sense. Who knows? Maybe tell me how any iota of logic was there in making Vince Russo the WCW World Heavyweight Champion? Zero. None at all. Nobody wanted to see his face. And yet he said in interviews before, when he was booking WCW, the ratings went up because it was a clusterfuck. I can vouch for that personally.
Yeah.
We used to watch Because it was a mess.
Well, it was.
We were able to watch, Raw first and then Nitro?
No. Nitro was on live on the West Coast 5 to 8.
Right.
So as soon as that was over, we just switched to USA and watched Raw from 8 to 10.
Right.
So we could watch it all.
We could watch it all,
And
yeah.
we watched a lot of WCW after Vince Russo took over just because it was a shit show. And it got to the point where it was just so bad.
Yeah.
I felt like, why am I wasting my time?
I know.
Like, I would record it, and I'd just fast forward through most of it.
And here's the thing, bro. Is that he's been given so much credit and probably due credit for what he did in WWF. But everybody always says, well, yeah, you throw 50 good ideas out there. You throw 50 ideas out there, and if 10 of them are good, Vince is going to take those 10 and say, okay, good, run with it, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys remember this, but there was a lot of crap in the Attitude Era as well. There was a lot of crap then.
Yes.
I don't know who was responsible for what. I don't know whose idea was to do what. But I feel like he really sort of rode sort of the coattails of like Vince McMahon's plan into a spot in WCW, and you see the results.
Yeah.
It was like
it's sort of like when you see filmmakers, especially in the early days, who have a lot of talent, but it's not exactly harnessed yet. So the studio or distributor will come in and help them craft a movie out of what they shot, and it's released and it's really good. And then later on, after they achieve some sort of critical success, financial success, they are allowed to do whatever they want, and it's an absolute mess.
This guy thought it was a good idea to call Hulk Hogan one of the biggest draws in wrestling, even at the time. And granted, we all understand that the WWF at the time had a youth movement that was carrying them into huge success and ultimately buying out WCW. We understand that their youth movement is what did it.
Yeah.
But you want to talk about casual fans and who they know, and you're sitting there at Bash of the Beach calling Hulk Hogan a piece of shit, whether it was a shoot or a work or whatever it was, he claims one thing, Hogan claims the other. You're just going to sit there on live TV and say, Hulk Hogan, you piece of shit, as Hogan walks out the building, never to come back. So regardless of what you think it was, if you think it was a work and Hogan agreed to it, whatever your machinations were, Hogan left.
Yeah.
He was gone. Your biggest draw, I'm sorry, but Hogan at the time was a bigger draw than anybody else in the company, and you could have used him properly to build Booker T. And I know there were politics backstage, and Hogan might have made that difficult for people, but he sure as hell, Vince Russo, didn't make it any better by going on TV and saying, you big piece of shit. Guys like Booker T are busting their asses. Guys like Jeff Jarrett are busting their asses. That's fine, but they weren't known. It's like they were known to the WCW fan base and probably WWF fan base.
Yeah, Jeff Jarrett never had crossover appeal.
Never drew a fucking dime, dude. I'm sorry. Nobody I knew in our wrestling circle, and we had a fairly common, like, normal wrestling circle, nobody liked Jeff Jarrett ever. And you put the belt on him how many times? You restarted the NWO? Great job you did there. What did you do with Bret Hart?
Yeah. So he kind of finishes up this rant.
Yeah, where he doesn't care.
Well, yeah, he says that many times. So he says, quote, we have Dean Ambrose as one champion and Kevin Owens as the other. You want to know how far wrestling has fallen? Razor Ramon, Scott Hall was never WWE champion. Jake the Snake was never WWE champion. Mr. Perfect was never WWE champion. King Kong Bundy was never WWE champion. Roddy Piper was never WWE champion. So... the reason a lot of those guys weren't champions is because Hulk Hogan was.
Exactly. Exactly.
Pretty much. I mean, Scott Hall said on one of the Stone Cold podcasts that being the world champ wasn't a huge deal to him.
He didn't care. He said, I wasn't a mark for the belt.
Yeah.
He's just, hey, pay me good and I'm happy.
But everybody else, by and large, they were never world champion because Hulk Hogan was world champion.
Yes,
at the time.
Exactly. In the case of Razor Ramon, I can almost guarantee he would have been champion had he stuck around.
Yeah.
Because he had that classic match with HBK. Diesel was already champion. He would have gotten that belt. Now, it was kind of a crime that Scott Hall was never a WCW world champion.
Yeah.
But he said he didn't care.
Yeah.
He didn't care. And then again, like you see, he goes to WCW, and who's the world champion mainly? He's Hulk Hogan.
Hulk Hogan.
So you had Hulk Hogan keeping a bunch of these guys. King Kong Bundy for sure, because Hogan was definitely champion then. Roddy Piper for sure.
King Kong Bundy was just a huge guy. He wasn't necessarily a captivating performer, though.
Right. Yeah.
But anyways, he goes on to say, again, I quote, are you going to look me in the eye and tell me that the wrestling business is not at rock bottom? Apparently, Vince Russo has not watched any wrestling from 1991 to 1996. Because that's the industry at rock bottom.
The thing is, he he proclaims that he doesn't watch the product, and yet at the same time he proclaims that it's horrible and it sucks, and he can list off many examples of why it sucks, but he doesn't watch the product. It's so funny when he was on Stone Cold's podcast, right? Obviously he was on there to promote Podcast One.
Yeah.
And he had this really long question about Austin Undertaker at SummerSlam and the finish and how it went down, which to me sounded like Russo was out of the loop on that. At the very least, because he's asking this question that I think probably like a lot of fans would want to know. And he said he was told one thing by Vince, and then Austin says, no, I was told something else. Yeah, he was told something like we both want to work babyface. I forget what it was. And so it sounded like Russo was out of the loop at SummerSlam 99, at least. No, SummerSlam 98. I'm sorry, 98.
That's one where the double pin on Stone Cold where Undertaker and Kane both pinned him.
What was it? Kane comes down, Undertaker waves him off. Stone Cold goes low blow on Undertaker, picks up the pin. Russo was like, "Why didn't the Undertaker then attack you?"
Gotcha. Okay.
And he was told. Russo, I think, was told by Vince that both guys wanted to work babyface.
Gotcha.
For that crowd, something like that. So I don't know. It's so silly to me. It's so. But I was gonna say on the Stone Cold podcast, so I guess Russo has these segments on his podcast. Which I listened to his interview with Raven. It was hard to get through all the bros, but it was a fairly interesting interview, mainly because Raven is a really interesting guy.
He is, yeah.
And it's like, look, dude, I like to hear about the little anecdotes from back then. You know, I think a Vince Russo podcast could have a lot of worth to it.
Yeah.
But there's this thick layer of what I can only perceive of as bitterness that he can't catch a job these days, and he's got this Rocky, and I hope Rocky Mountain Pro, whatever it's called. Yeah. Does good. I hope it does well for itself. I like good wrestling. I like when guys are working.
Yeah.
But there's just this thick layer of bitterness from a guy who I think thinks he had more impact on the business than he really did.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like the buck stopped with McMahon, and look what happened when you were given free reign. Your product sucked. You put the belt on yourself. Like your number one choice, your number one decision should have been, I'm never going to be on TV.
Yeah.
I'm going to sit back here. All this great talent that we have, Scott Steiner, DDP, Hogan, even Jeff Jarrett, Booker T. We have all this great talent. Nash, Hall. Yeah. We have all these great talents. Sting. I'm gonna move these pieces in a way that they haven't been moved before. Yeah. And instead, what did he do? All the powers that be, or whatever he called himself. And then he just it was just like the back of his head. It was like the weird Steinbrenner shit in Seinfeld.
Yeah.
Which was comedy. And then they did the New Blood thing, which I thought was kind of what could have been interesting. And then it wasn't.
Yeah.
You know? And you had Hogan putting over Kidman, so I know Hogan was down to do at least some shit and put some new guys over.
Yeah.
You know?
Anyways.
Let's
talk about something positive.
Go check out Vince Russo's podcast, Decide for Yourself. It's called The Brand. It's on Podcast One.
Yes, please listen to it, decide for yourself.
Yeah.
You want to talk about NXT?
Let's talk about NXT. It was a good episode.
Yeah, it was. Show opened with...
Kevin Owens does not speak to the world as a character. What does that even mean? He does not speak to the world. He can't relate to Kevin Owens?
I find Kevin Owens incredibly relatable.
One of the most relatable guys on the roster.
Yeah. NXT.
Let's talk about NXT.
So show opened with Samoa Joe and William Regal in the trainer's room with one of the doctors. And the doctor said, based on Samoa Joe's dislocated jaw and other injuries, Joe would not be allowed to perform.
Right.
So Joe just looked angry and left.
And then William Regal had this really odd look, and he was like, what does this mean possibly for Samoa Joe? What does this mean for Samoa Joe? Shinsuke Nakamura. What does it mean for him?
Following that, we had the Perfect 10, Ty Dillinger
versus Murphy,
Buddy Murphy.
I'm equally parts bummed and happy that it wasn't the guy with the slow music.
Oh, Wesley Blake.
I still think they're twins.
Murphy has the dubstep.
Yeah, still, I know.
Decent match. Ty went over.
Yeah.
They seem to be getting Ty on the winning path.
Yeah.
Which is good.
Good for him.
Because the crowd loves him.
Yeah, this is a packed episode of NXT.
It was. There's a lot here.
They're in full developmental mode, though. I love it.
Next, we had a brief interview with Tommaso Ciampa for the Revival.
Came in and beat his ass.
Yeah, and they cut a promo.
Yeah.
The Revival are so good.
They're great.
They're fantastic.
They are amazing. They're fantastic. They are.
Hopefully in the fall we'll see them on SmackDown.
I really like this because every belt is held by somebody with so much weight while the promotion is reloading and developing.
Yep. Next, we had a match between Steve Cutler.
Steve Cutler has a great face. He's got like this sort of, he's got like a low brow.
Yeah.
And he's got like a bigger mouth, like his teeth are everywhere.
Yeah, and he has Wolverine facial hair.
That's right. What a great look. And he busted out the Hollis Schuyler gray denim vest.
Yeah.
I wonder if he's going to claim that for his own.
Maybe he'll start a faction with
that. Should be a title.
The gray denim vest.
It should be a title.
He had a match against Kenneth Crawford.
Mm-hmm.
Good match.
Good match. Solid match. Steve Cutler picked up the win.
Yep.
Yeah.
Hideo Itami had a great promo.
He said, "I'm a baby," about Austin Aries. I thought he was a man, but I'm a baby.
And what did he say? Kicked you in the head with my sockless loafer?
My sockless loafer.
So good. So good.
That's right. That was classic.
That was very really good. No Way Jose against Angelo Dawkins.
I like that Angelo Dawkins.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's good.
Yeah, he is real good.
Athletic dude.
We had an interview with.
I like that he comes out too in the most pedestrian gear. He has like a ripped shirt and doesn't he have like a headband or something?
2 headbands.
2 headbands. It looks like he's going to the gym, but just like a normal gym, like Fitness 19.
Next, an Andrade Cien Almas interview cut short by Austin Aries. Austin Aries is great.
Man, okay, so this could be a way to get Almas a win if he gets into a program with Austin Aries, or is Austin Aries going straight up to Hideo Itami?
Oh, no, he's going to. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Almas and Austin Aries had a match next week.
Tommy's not losing anytime soon. Is Almas going to lose to Austin? How are they figuring all this out? These are all people who need wins.
I know.
Austin doesn't need wins, but he should have wins.
I know.
He just beat No Way Jose. You can't have 2 losses in a row with Austin Aries. He's the greatest man who ever lived.
It's true, and he loves his bananas.
He does. I love Austin Aries.
He's talking about his busted eardrum. Sorry, I can't hear you because he spoke to my busted eardrum. It's funny.
Austin, everybody, I'm sorry. I'm going to say this. Look, for you longtime listeners and watchers out there, you know how down we used to be on TNA talent coming in? Everybody they brought into TNA has been
great.
Fucking gold.
Great.
I am all in on anybody they want to bring in from TNA, man.
Okay.
Because they're always great.
Next, Liv Morgan versus Aaliyah.
This is a decent match. I like Aaliyah.
Yeah.
So
then we had a No Way Jose interview, and we saw
interrupted. Yeah.
Bobby Roode
coming around the corner, sauntering into the shot, and he looks him up and down, says, "Nice head." He's glorious.
So good.
So we're gonna get No Way Jose jobbing a Bobby Roode now.
And then the close of the show.
Possibly way. No Way Jose loses out big time if he jobs a Bobby Roode, but nobody's really hurt that bad if No Way Jose gets one win in, and then they go to the second match, and Bobby Roode maybe takes 2 more matches or something
Potentially.
like that. Give No Way Jose 1 win over Bobby Roode.
Or at least
a surprising win. They can do the surprising win.
Give No Way Jose a win. I mean, I thought he was going to beat Austin Aries at TakeOver.
Give him a roll-up win.
Yeah. And to close the show, we had the new NXT champion, Shinsuke Nakamura, come out, drop a promo.
Yep.
Good stuff.
Good stuff. I think honestly, and this isn't like a language thing, I think his mystique is helped by talking less. Less words, more effective. That's how I feel.
Yeah, I think I kind of agree with you.
You know what I mean? Because I mean, he's still, you know. And my thing is this: like, I don't need him. You know, people say, well, maybe he can take. You know, a lot of people say maybe he should take some English lessons because I think he might be taking some English lessons to shore up his English a little bit. I don't think that's necessary, man. I think this guy has all the charisma in the world to get his point across.
Yeah,
I don't need long promos from him.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah, I agree with that.
I don't need that. He's the kind of guy. He's just, dude. He's a freaking rock star.
Yep.
You know?
Yep.
He's got, like, in my opinion, he's got magical powers.
Pretty much.
Persuasion.
I mean, as well as his charisma translates through camera, being there in person is something else entirely.
We never need to hear Brock Lesnar speak. He's got Paul Heyman to do that for him. In this case, he doesn't even need a mouthpiece. He just comes out and rocks it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I could do without him talking all that much.
Let's talk about the Cruiserweight Classic, because there was 2 great matches last night.
Really, really great matches.
I hope all these guys are in the Cruiserweight division.
I agree, man. I agree.
Because they're all outstanding.
They are.
They're all fun to watch.
That Kendrick Kota Ibushi match. Can we talk about this? What did I mark out hardest for, Larson?
Yeah.
What did I mark out hardest for?
When Kota Ibushi sold the Burning Hammer and Kendrick went for the pin, and Ibushi looked like his eyes were legitimately kind of glazed over, like he had just been concussed, and didn't look at the ref while the ref was counting the pinfall.
His head naturally fell to the side, and instead of doing this shit when the ref is right here, he understood that the count was coming, and then he kicked out.
Great.
How many people on the fucking main roster, Larson, have we seen stare at the ref, acting as if they're fully lucid, and then they kick out? It happens all the time, and I hate it. If you get hit with a finisher and you barely kick out at 2.5, you should wake up at 2.5 as you kick out.
Well, even that,
as you kick out.
You should kick out on instinct.
Yes, on instinct, exactly. Your body understands that a count's happening. Your brain barely registers it. Oh, got to kick up. Hey, okay.
Then you see the 1, the 2. Sometimes you can almost see him counting.
Yeah, I know. I know, exactly. It's like we all understand that it's a tight position to be in. It has to be precise.
Yeah.
But understand that ref hits the ground, he's going to do this.
You can feel it. You can hear it.
It's amazing.
But something, we've never been in the wrestling ring.
Oh, you're absolutely right.
So maybe in that situation, I'm sure it's loud. I'm sure there's a lot of things going on.
I know.
If you want to make sure you don't screw up the finish to a match, it might be better to play it safe. Let's give these guys the benefit of the doubt.
I know.
They're all professionals. Look, they all know what they're doing.
Austin said this on his podcast. I forget who he was talking to, but he said, "What do you do when the ref counts? You close your eyes, look away." And then you kick up when you're supposed to kick up.
Okay.
I know. I totally. You're absolutely right. 1,000,000% right. We've never been in the ring. I have zero desire to be in the ring. And it's a loud situation. It's intimidating. But keep an eye on that out there. Keep an eye on that. When next time you guys watch a match, pay attention. See who watches the ref and who doesn't.
Yeah.
It almost makes me think that they teach them to watch the ref because you don't want to screw up the finish.
They could.
I personally don't like that. But I don't care, bro. If you're going to look at me in the eyes, I don't care what you think. I care what you guys think.
Let's stay positive. Okay, to close the show. We're done. That was it.
You want positive? I care what they think. I do. I welcome opinions contrary to us. People have made contrary things all the time. One guy in the comments of YouTube, and I forget his name, he said, "I disagree. I want to see storylines in the Cruiserweight division." That's a good point to make. Yeah. I personally don't feel I need it. I don't need it.
Because I would like to see it if they're well done. I'd like to see storylines in all divisions if they're well done. Because I think it could enhance the drama in the match. I would love to see storylines in the Cruiserweight division so long as they're well done. But I know what you're saying. You're saying it's not absolutely necessary. I understand that.
One of the great things about the Cruiserweight Classic to me is that it's demonstrated that this can be a purely physical thing in the ring.
Look at it this way. This tournament itself is a story.
Yeah.
The climax of the story is the finals, whoever holds that trophy at the end. That's the story. The Cruiserweight Classic, there is a story, overarching story.
But all of the greatest matches have told a story separate from that in the ring.
But it's all motivated by reaching the end of the tournament.
Perhaps.
No, it is. I mean, why else are you in this tournament unless you're there to win it?
Well, obviously they're there to win it. I'm just saying I think that I've seen stories. Cedric Alexander versus Kota Ibushi is a perfect example for me.
Great story.
Where I didn't care what was on the line in the end. They were telling a story. Who was the best that night? Who was the best in that match? I'm fine with that being the story.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that. Many people disagree. I'm totally cool with that. So,
okay.
Yeah. Anyways.
All right. That's it. We're done.
Thanks for watching, everybody. Thanks to all our sponsors. Patrons at patreon.com/Steven Larson. I know the millions of sponsors we have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll talk to you later.
We'll talk to you guys later.
Bye.